Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Shweta Nagasundram from Alavi.ai, and today's discussion is on building data-oriented teams in e-commerce businesses with Vrinda Agarwal, Associate Vice President of Marketing at IGP in India, which is formerly known as Indian Gifts Portal. So we actually chose this topic for today's discussion because being data-driven has become an important thing as being innovative or diverse or socially responsible. And it has undoubtedly become one of the most admirable features of organizational culture and an imperative feature of e-commerce brands. And major decisions, particularly those related to marketing and growth, can no longer be based on intuition itself. So evidence-based decision-making is now key. And for e-commerce and marketing teams, this just means, effectively understanding and analyzing the vast amounts of data being captured and stored in marketing and sales channels, as well as, other technologies. So e-commerce businesses and marketing leaders of those businesses are now, tasked with building teams that are data-driven and also comfortable with utilizing this data to effectively grow and scale online. But that being said, it's still, for most companies, a strong data-driven culture still remains elusive because most of them, find it hard to build data-driven teams. And given these difficulties across building these teams, we're super thrilled to have with us Vrinda here today. To just help us unpack what it means to build data-driven teams and also build a data-driven culture in an e-commerce business, and even just share with us some of the challenges that may arise and how we can basically overcome those. So Vrinda, we cannot wait for you to share your thoughts and insights on this topic. So just to start things off, could you tell us a little bit about IGP.com and your role as Associate Vice President of Marketing there?
Sure. Hi, Shweta. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody else. Exciting to be here. I have been a startup person throughout now with a marketing experience of about 6+ years. In the different journey stages of my career, I have worked with the companies at different stages of the growth, and worked with the larger marketing teams, the smaller marketing teams, and right from setting up the very basic reports, the tools, performance measurement graphs, and then scaling it up to an enterprise level that we are today. With IGP, I have been now for closer to 4 years. And again, started here with one channel getting set up for most of the communication, working out the reporting parameters, and then working over to now being in an automated dashboard-driven marketing reports, performance KPIs, metrics, setup, and working through different teams. A little bit about IGP. So IGP actually, we are 3 brands under the parent company, Joint Ventures Private Limited, registered out of Singapore. So we are IGP D2C, which is a D2C company for all kinds of gifting needs. We are very strong on Indian festivals in the NRI community and preferred destination within India for all of the gifting occasions, right from the needing the products like cakes, flowers, or the personalized gifts, which basically helps you celebrate any special moment in your life. Then our B2B brand, which is called IGP for Business, is more of a SaaS platform, works as a gift stack platform for Fortune 500 companies, which allows these companies to control the entire gifting and special product feature for the corporate circle, including the employees, the clients, and the vendors. And then we also in India we own the exclusive partnership with Interflora.uk under the brand name Interflora.in, which is into the premium and luxury flower gifting, both for a D2C perspective as well as for the events and weddings and larger flower record setup. As for my role with IGP, so right now I'm managing this. I'm managing the entire CLM piece, taking care of how the repeat users are coming onto the platform, what is their retention like, what is the frequency, working out the communication strategies, the marketing strategies to retain and improve the customer life cycle across the year.
All right, wonderful, Brenda. Thank you so much for that introduction. It was pretty informative, and thank you so much once again. So moving on to our topic, could you tell us what it means to be data-driven, and how do you apply data in your day-to-day activities at IGP and in your role as well?
Sure, Shweta. So from my perspective, the way I define data is actually a combination of the information or the numbers that tell you the information that where you are, what is the KPIs that you're actually looking for, combined with the actionable not the journey only to understand that how those numbers and what those numbers are telling you, but how those numbers can help you achieve a particular goal or business goal that you have in mind. For me, data is that complete cycle.
Okay.
And the way we use data in our daily activities, so all of our campaigns, all of our channels, they perform on a standardized KPI parameter where we'll define that these are the average expected numbers. We observe the trend if they are going up or down, dig down on the reasons that why they are up, if they are working in our favor, why they are working in our favor, if they are not working in our favor, why they are not, and what are the actions to be taken by each and every member of the team to continue moving forward towards the business goal.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, Brenda. So just in terms of like skills and values, let's talk more on that. So are there any specific soft or hard skills or, values that leaders and teams need to have when it comes to being data driven?
Okay, so I would like to answer this question actually in 2 points. So one is the hard skill value set that you would need for anybody who is working in such a environment or a structure. So definitely the logical ability, the ability to understand and interpret a large amount of information, the charts, the pictorial as well as the tabular format, basic understanding of the business, that how those numbers are coming, or understanding of the tools from those numbers are coming. So all of them can be summed up as the hard skill requirement for anybody to be in this field. When you say about the soft skills, and that is something that I also focus more on when I'm hiring within the team. So in the soft skills, the willingness to actually go beyond every time to understand the information which is getting put in your place, and the persistence, having a persistent attitude to actually check and keep rechecking the information that you are getting, and then trying to match it up with the real life situations and decisions. That actually depends a lot on the person. So a similar report would tell somebody differently if they do not have the right attitude to actually base their decisions that they are taking at that point of time, seeing the data, as compared to somebody who is not that much vested in. So apart from the hard skill, that eagerness and that willingness to actually put up that extra mile is much required in anybody.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer, Brenda. I think that is some great points that you actually highlighted there when it comes to, skills and values. So moving on, commentators in the business world have actually suggested, some of the biggest obstacles to creating data-driven businesses are not actually technical in nature, but they're actually more cultural. So what steps has IGP taken to, ensure that its teams are data-driven, and what roadblocks did IGP face when trying to achieve this? And how did the brand, overcome all of these challenges?
Okay, so getting the teams data-driven is actually a journey, Shweta. It's not achieved, say you hire 5 people in the organization and suddenly the entire organization will become data-driven. But the starting steps that we have implemented in IGP over the years, and which has bring about the real change. One, the very first one is actually standardizing the definitions of the KPIs that you are measuring. So while different teams like marketing, the product, the tech, the sales team, they are working on the dashboard more often than not. The measurements or the indicators that they are looking, they are very different, and the standardization are not there for each of those indicators. So coming to a common point where a common parameters are decided with a standardized definition, that really helped us to inculcate that strong culture that whenever somebody is discussing a strategy or numbers, each one of us know what are the underlying assumptions or definitions going about, and there is no forth and back on that particular aspect. Then second is once you are bigger enough, actually throwing open the data sources. So see, a lot of people, everybody interprets the information which is coming to them differently, and also with a different workload, people are able to identify different kind of insights. So until and unless your structured data is available to everybody, not just as a PPT synthesized format that some team is putting up, but everybody has that ability or has that access to drill down in the numbers that they want to see, play around with them, and then come up with their own solutions. That goes big way to promoting the data culture. And then third is, of course, that tying up the business goals which are getting assigned to various teams and the team members are actually aligned to the KPIs that are being asked to measure. So if business revenue as a business revenue is one of the goals that we are driving, so we should break it down. Business revenues at different stages, that these number of transactions or the AOVs or the minimum active users, monthly active users or weekly active users are how that business revenue is going to come in. And those numbers are broken down and everybody is in sync while chasing that one target.
All right. So just from a marketing perspective, how has, a data-driven culture proved to be successful, during business cycle fluctuations? And also as a result, how has this helped improve the brand's relationship with the customer?
Okay, so I guess the best example would be the COVID time period when most of the businesses got impacted and there was a huge uncertainty about. But as a business, when you have your trends and you have the data available from previous years, not just in terms of the net revenue, but also in terms of that what are the healthy parameters for your brand or businesses, which might not convert into a direct revenue right now, but has a certain potential to be converted 5 months down the line or 3 months down the line. So if that kind of an infra is already available and the strategy decision makers are aware about that, then taking hard business calls or taking certain decisions of large momentum is not that hard. So for example, during the COVID time in IGP, we saw that while the net transactions or the revenue is not there because obviously the services were disrupted, we still saw a healthy number of visitors who were coming to explore, people who were dropping us queries, and certain numbers were still in sync. What is the trend on month to month or a year to year? So those kind of knowledge from the previous years actually helped us to chart out a course for the business for the next coming 12 months amidst a lot of uncertainties as well. And this is one example of a unit. It was happening for each of the business unit that was getting reshaped and realigned during the hard time. So somehow, when everything is going right, people tend to see these top numbers, and then when the things are not going right, they are actually at a loss to understand that they know that the things are going wrong, but somewhere because there hasn't been a deep dive on why, what are the things which made it right, probably that creates a lot more chaos, and then the right kind of information is also not available.
All right, that makes a lot of sense indeed. So just to sum it up, there is no single path to, becoming a data-driven businesses. So for example, some brands like to focus on building the dream data team, while others would rather invest in the right type of technology. So are there any tools that can be useful in terms of, collecting and analyzing data in order to assist the process of moving towards a data-driven culture?
So actually, right now in the market, for every kind of industry and businesses, you have custom tools available. But in my experience, choosing the right tool to identify or to collect and analyze your data also depends on what are your business goals. Because so for some companies, marketing spend and optimization of the cost is one of the biggest decisive factor for a marketing or a business insight team. So there are certain tools which help you to pull data from different marketing channels, put them in a central repository, and then run analysis and trends over that. There are certain other businesses or industries for whom the product analytics in terms of the visitors, the users, the transactors, the repeat transactors, or the churners, these kind of metrics are more on the priority because they define the business health for them. So for such industries and the brands, you have tools like Adobe Analytics, Mixpanel, or a lot of others, or in-house custom built solutions to give you the information. But again, I would like to emphasize the point that knowing what are your business priorities, and second, what are the key performance indicators, or as in analytics term we call the North Star, that what is the North Star that you are chasing, and then breaking it down into different directly measurable indicators should guide you that what tool you want to put in-house. Then most of the tools in the market do provide you the integrations, out-of-box integrations or webhooks to pull the data from different sources the way you want to structure it. But if you've got a tool which gives you your majority of the insights or the major KPIs that you're driving right then and there in the correct format, the rest of the work gets easy.
Okay, so this has actually been a fantastic discussion, Vrinda. And just to tie it all up, our last question is, as a leader building these data-driven teams, what advice would you give to small and medium businesses that are just starting to build data-driven businesses or teams?
Okay, so again, this is coming from my experience with the startups. So with startups, we are always playing that balancing game of not spending too much money while trying to achieve the maximum out of a standard or a free or a low cost tool. So when people start working with the free tools, you always see that a lot of premium features or certain advanced features are not available for you. And especially with the data teams, I've seen with the data scientists or the BI team, people have seen this constant nagging and worrying, hey, I'm not using those 5 more features, and probably that will solve all my problems. In my experience, even if you start up measuring certain basic information with an automated Excel or Google Data Studio, or even you diligently put up your custom dashboards on Google Analytics and get those numbers right, but do it diligently over time and time again so that you have a mastery, and you also observe trends and information what you should be deep diving on, and do not rush for the very costly tools right at the start before knowing that what is it you are measuring and how it's improving upon your business. That would help you to take right steps in the right direction without putting up a lot of fixed costs from the day one, which a lot of times the business can't support. So take baby steps, but whatever numbers or whatever the dashboards you have made, do follow them diligently, and take the business actions based on them, and you will start that team already coming in your teams and in your working.
Brilliant, Brinda. Thank you so much once again for your insightful answers. So with that, we've come to the end of our podcast, and we're super thrilled that you were able to join us today. You definitely highlighted some great points in terms of how e-commerce businesses can really benefit from having a data-driven culture. So I would also like to thank our listeners for tuning in to this podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode and you want to learn more about using technology that can help your team become more data-driven, do check out our website at www